everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your week. It's been an eventful last few days for me. Most of you may have noticed I have not been uh, having much of a presence on social media. Taking some days off, even from working with clients. If I had some things that I needed to deal with on a personal level, it happens, and it's for the better. A lot of challenging things, but challenges are the pathway to excellence and progression. You have to be willing to go through and deal with and take on challenges. Now, I'm going to be brief because I do have a client I need to get with in about 18 minutes. So I'm going to come to you and do everything I can to share with you what I have. Please see the description box for the resources that are available because I'm going to mention them as I move through, and I want you to be able to take advantage of them. Um, one of the, if not the most asked question that I have to address over the course of my life, say for the last 20 years or so, is in one way, shape, form, or fashion, how did I or how do I achieve the things that I've achieved? And it depends on where the person is coming from and what I perceive the person may need in order to inspire and encourage them, because to me, that's what it's about. It's not about, hanging some accomplishment in front of some people and making myself look like I'm this supernatural person. I'm human. I bleed, I hurt, I cry, I'm disappointed, I miss the mark, all of those things. So if I'm human and I have all the realities and all the experiences that every other human has, what is the difference? How do you go through and you look at some of the things that I've been able to do, much of which, and I say much, let me change that. A lot of the things I've accomplished are logged. They're logged in time. No person can come along and misinterpret them. They're there. They're logged in. They're there. You can't take it away. But the things that matter to me the most are the things that only the people who I've touched will know. But those are still accomplishments to me because I was able to use my gifting, my brilliance, my the things that make me me to help people. Now, look, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you in as a straightforward a way what has led to who I am right now. And it begins with this thing early in life, and I'm not sure exactly where it came from. I wish I could tell you where it came from, but I couldn't stand for someone to tell me I couldn't do something. I don't mean from an authoritative position like my parents says, no, you can't do it. I mean for someone telling me they think I couldn't do it. And I always was out there, and my goal was to, if you say it can't be done, if you say I can't do it, watch me. And that was, for a long time, that was one of the most powerful motivators I had, was proving that. Now, and I think maybe some of that is tied to um, the fact that I had a father that wasn't present, and I was always trying to prove I was worthy. That's a big possibility. And there was just this drive. I wanted to always be the best, and at least if I wasn't the best, be the best I could be. If I lost to somebody, I wanted to be because they were just simply more gifted, more talented. And we both worked hard and they just were a little better than me. I didn't want it to be because I didn't get something done that I should have done. So I had this drive on the inside that pushed me, that made me want to be better. This is something that my grandfather taught me here. My grandfather said, be the first one there and the last one to leave. And that is still a lot of the times the case with me. I'm in my 50s now. I've done a lot of things that I am so proud of, things that I can hold and I can carry with me until the end of this life, and know I came and I made a difference in this world, and that there are people in this world who are better because I was there. Far more who are better than those who are not. And that's the goal, because you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to have some things you regret. But when you look up and you say, look, man, The vast majority of my life has been helping people. The vast majority of my life has been doing some things. But yeah, you know, growing up and maturing, and you make some decisions you're not happy with. Sometimes you make some misjudgments, but I never intended in my entire life to hurt anybody. That was never my case, to sit out and hurt anybody. Unfortunately, our intentions aren't always what we produce, and you have to be honest with yourself about that. And I made peace with that a long time ago. I know who I am as a person. I know who I am as a human, and I live to be the best that I possibly can at every given day. And I can't sit around. And here's the other thing: I had to learn to become independent of other people's opinions, because you'll sit up and you'll actually do something, and a person will sit up there and pretend that you didn't. They will sit up there and look completely over it. They will sit down and mischaracterize it. They will do a bunch of things. There are other people that you'll sit up and you'll actually use your brilliance to help, and they will pretend that the brilliance doesn't exist. You'll sit up and there will be people who will sit up and look at you and sit up and come up with a reason to discredit you, because they don't want to give you the acknowledgement that you have excelled. Some people do it because it convicts them, because they're sitting in a place that they're discontent with, but they don't have the fortitude through which to climb up and rise up and move out of that. And they'll sit up and find a reason to make what you're doing not legitimate, so that they don't have to confront the cognitive dissonance or mental discomfort that comes from knowing what you're complaining can't be done. Somebody's doing it. Another thing, speaking of impossible, I grew up in a Christian home. And while I don't claim to be religious now, I am definitely connected to God. I believe in God with all my heart. I trust him as a source and power of everything that I do. I'm just not a religious person in the sense of all of the things that we govern ourselves with that don't lead to us living our lives the way God intended. I think that the Spirit of God guides us, and that we have a Bible that gives us a bunch of stuff that we could sit up and use as powerful tools. But when we use them to judge people, when we use them to tear people down, or when we use them to judge ourselves to the point that we don't have self-esteem because we're trying to measure up to something, I don't think it serves God well. I think that you have to walk in the power of your spirit. But what I can tell you is, in the Bible, the matter of fact, the Bible is the first book I've read. I read thousands, but the first book I ever read was the Bible at a very, very early age, thanks to my great grandmother, who insisted that I use my ability to remember things to learn how to read. And she used the Bible to teach me. And early in life, one of the things that I read, and it was in red print, and my grandmother had told me that if it's in red print, that meant that Jesus said it. Specifically, it was a quote from Jesus. And I read that he had said that nothing shall be impossible for you. And when I read it, I took it literally. I wasn't old enough to think about its theological implications and its presentation and exegesis and exegogics and all the things that we learn in our theological studies and the examining of God as in existence. I simply say, it said nothing shall be impossible. And the thing that I got out of that, even at an early age, was there were no exceptions. There were no exceptions. It said nothing shall be impossible. So what is left? What is the exception? When you say nothing shall be impossible, what is there that's left? Nothing. That's just it. Nothing shall be impossible. And so I've spent my life going after things that to everyone in my life were impossible. And I've had a pretty good run, and I'm not done yet. Not even close. I've had some bumps and some bruises, got knocked down to the point that everybody counted me out. Even the ones that won't admit it counted me out. And I've come a long way from that. And I've done it without a whole lot of people who could have been there being there. Let me tell you, I've done it with people who should have been loving on me, wishing for my demise. So let me tell you, this isn't about a life of ease. This isn't about getting a big fan support. This isn't about having everybody feeling what you're doing. This is about making up in your mind and doing it, and then stepping out there and going after it and refusing to do it. It's about having a belief system that simply refuses to accept anything but it can be done. One of the things that I want you to check out in that description box is a course that I created years ago. Matter of fact, I sold it to a larger institution that has been selling it for an astronomical price and making a killing off of it for 5 years. They had a 5-year license on it. That 5-year license ended at the end of last year. And I took it back. I didn't resell it. And I've now packaged it at a much more affordable price for people who are struggling with limiting beliefs. And we all have them. You grow up in an environment, your environment creates your belief system, the paradigms through which you view life. And that tells you how you fit into this world, what you're capable of, what's possible. And if you never challenge that, if you never challenge what's possible, you'll always be governed by the beliefs that were handed to you at a very early age. This program allows you to challenge those limited beliefs, shake them off, because what you'll find out is everything that you look at that's unbelievable, that's astronomical, that's big, and you look at it and wow, somebody decided to challenge what people believed impossible. You're talking on, or you're watching this on a device that was impossible 40 years ago. Running the mile under 4 minutes was not only believed to be impossible, but lethal. They thought if you ran the mile under 4 minutes, that your heart would explode. Now, high school kids are doing it. So thousands of people, it took one person to sit up and challenge it. And here's the beautiful thing about Roger Bannister. When people ask Roger Bannister, how did he train to break the 4-minute barrier, to run the mile under 4 minutes? He said, I just did it 1,000 times in my head. See, that's the next thing. You got to win the war of your mind. Your mind is the most powerful force you have with you. It is the interpreter of your faith. It's interpreting what you believe, how you believe, and it's then passing it on into your subconscious mind, and it's telling you what to do. A bunch of things you're not even trying because subconsciously you believe it's impossible. So crushing beliefs is that. Then finally, I want to invite you into the Epic Ram community. It's a community I created a few months ago that's designed for people who want to raise the level at which they live. I call it next level living. It's moving, constantly striving to get to the next level, living life at a level of your design. And your design is an expanding explosion of potential. What does that mean? That means you're never reaching your potential. You're never going to have a point where you finally arrive. So if you're striving to expand at the rate of your potential, you're constantly growing. And so I created this environment for people who are trying to start businesses, people who are trying to fix relationships, people who are dealing with mental issues, people who are trying to fix their finances, people who are trying to be, you have to be in a circle that supports what you're doing. So I wanted to give people the best opportunity to get with like-minded people so they could purposely construct a winning circle, because you're going to ultimately be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. And in the link in that box, there's a link to join that. That's 1-year membership. You're going to get access to so much, weekly Q&A sessions, breakouts sessions with experts. We have mental health experts, business experts, finance experts. All of these people are going to be answering your questions. You can ask questions in the forum. You can ask questions personally. You can be at the Q&A session and ask questions. They're going to be on social media, off social media. We are creating a network of winners. We are changing the way we view life. We are going to make 2022 the most epic year that we have experienced in our lives. It started out with me just declaring it, and I said I wanted as many people as possible to come along. Also, what I'm going to do to really entice you and get you to take a part of this beautiful opportunity is I'm going to sweeten the pot by giving you a free session. If you sign up today, I'm going to give you a free session with yours truly, the free rapid change breakthrough session. That's the $350 value that I'm going to give you for just joining. So you're going to triple, more than triple the value of your membership right off the bat. And then we take it and we move and we grow, but we've got to start taking steps. You don't get anywhere by sitting there looking. You don't get anywhere by sitting there contemplating. You don't get anywhere by sitting there and hoping and wishing. None of that stuff produces anything. You have to sit there and you have to say, whoa, this is big. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it down one hack at a time. I'm going to build it one brick at a time. I'm going to do what I need to do one step at a time. And what I can tell you is this is something that I teach my clients. It's something that I live by and that I'll be done. I look at and I set these huge, enormous goals. And then I just take a step and I take a step. And when you look up a year from now, Maybe I didn't get there, but what I can tell you is because I'm striving for something so big, I'm so far away from where I am now when I started that I smile. When I look at where I was last year, and it wasn't a bad place, I smile because I see the growth. I see the advancement. I see the development in every aspect of my life. I'm changing. I'm growing for the better. Let me tell you, it's possible, but you've got to grow. I'm inviting you in. I want you to be a part of it. So again, for everybody who signs up for the Epic Realm community of high achievers, that link is in there along with the link for the Crushing Limiting Beliefs course. If you sign up for Epic Realm, I'm going to give you one free rapid change breakthrough session. That's $350 session, absolutely free. On that note, I got to get out of here and get ready for my client. You guys have an unbelievable day. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I will die on E. I challenge you to do the same thing.